Good afternoon. I'm Rose, and this afternoon I will be presenting a pastiche from John Steinbeck's novel of Mice and Men. In this excerpt, the character Lenny has a conversation with a woman he knows only as Curly's wife. Curly's wife came around the end of the last stall. She came very quietly so that Lenny didn't see her. She was quite near to him before Lenny looked up.
What you got there, sonny boy?
Lenny looked down at the hay.
George says I ain't to have nothing to do with you. Not talk to you or nothing.
And is George giving you orders about everything?
Says I can't tend no rabbits if I talk to you or anything.
Listen, she said. All the guys got a horseshoe tenement going on. It's only about 4 o'clock. None of them guys is gonna leave that tenement. Why can't I talk to you? I never get to talk to nobody. I get awful lonely.
Well, George said if I done any more bad things, he ain't gonna let me tend the rabbits.
Don't you worry about talking to me. Listen to the guys yell out there. They got $4 betting that tenement. None of them ain't gonna leave till it's over.
If George sees me talking to you, he'll give me hell. He told me so. And then he won't let me tend no more rabbits.
Don't you think of nothing but rabbits?
We gonna have a little place,
Lenny explained patiently.
We gonna have a house and a garden and a place for alfalfa. And that alfalfa's for the rabbits. And I take a sack and I get it all full of alfalfa, and then I take it to the rabbits.
She asked,
What makes you so nuts about rabbits?
I like to pet nice things. Once at a fair, I seen some of them long-hair rabbits, and they was nice, you bet. Sometimes I even pet mice, but not when I could get nothing better.
Curly's wife moved away from him a little.
I think you're nuts.
No, I ain't. George says I ain't. I just like to pet nice things with my fingers, is all. Soft things.
She was a little bit reassured.
Well, who don't? Everybody likes that. I like to feel silk and velvet. Do you like to feel velvet?
You bet by God. And I had some, too. A lady gave me some, and that lady was my own Aunt Clara. She give it right to me, about this big a piece. I wish I had that velvet right now.
A frown came over his face.
I lost it. I ain't seen it for a long time.
You're a kind of nice fella. Just like a big baby. But a person can see kind of what you mean. When I'm doing my hair, sometimes I just sit and stroke it. Because it's so soft. Some people got kind of coarse hair. Take Curly. His hair is just like wire. But mine is soft and fine. Of course, I brush it a lot. That makes it fine. Here, feel right here.
She took Lenny's hand and placed it on the top of her head.
Feel right around there. See how soft it is. Don't you muss it up now.
Lenny stroked harder.
Look out now, you'll muss it. You stop it now, you'll muss it all up.
She jerked her head sideways, and Lenny's fingers closed on her hair and hung on.
Let go. You let go.
Lenny was in a panic. His face was contorted. She screamed then, and Lenny's other hand closed over her mouth and nose.
Please don't,
he begged.
Oh, please don't do that. George will be mad.
She struggled violently under his hands. Her feet battered on the hay, and she writhed to be free. And from under Lenny's hand came a muffled screaming.
Oh, please don't do none of that. George gonna say I done a bad thing. He ain't gonna let me tend no rabbits.
He moved his hand a little, and her hoarse cry came out. Then Lenny grew angry.
Now don't. I don't want you to yell. You're gonna get me in trouble, just like George says you will. Now don't you do that. Don't you go yelling.
He shook her, and her body flopped like a fish. And then she was still. He looked down at her and carefully removed his hand from over her mouth, and she lay still.
I don't want to hurt you, he said. But George will be mad if you yell.
When she didn't answer, nor move, he bent closely over her. He lifted her arm and let it drop.
I done a bad thing. I done another bad thing. I shouldn't have did that. George will be mad. And he said, hide in the brush till he come. He's gonna be mad. In the brush till he come, that's what he said.
Lenny went back and looked at the dead girl. He crept to the barn wall and peered out, between the cracks towards the horseshoe inn. And then he crept around the end of the last manger and disappeared.